Why do so many smart, talented people feel quietly defeated, even as life gets more comfortable? In a world built for ease, we get lost in distractions, trade grit for comfort, and wake up wondering why our spirit feels fragile, stuck, or small. Here's the truth. Life is not getting harder. We are getting softer. We scroll to escape discomfort, chase quick fixes, and let convenience erode our edge. All the while, the mind grows weaker, not from a lack of talent, but from a lack of training. The Stoics saw it coming centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." They did not seek peace by avoiding storms. They built unshakable minds by walking straight into the fire, turning every obstacle into a training ground. And here is the deeper layer. Every time you resist the urge to escape or numb out, you reclaim a little of your lost power. Strength is not something you are born with. It is a discipline, earned one challenge at a time. If you are tired of feeling adrift, there is a way back. The ancient Stoics left us a roadmap, not for a life of ease, but for one of unbreakable presence and power. Today, you will learn how the strongest minds are built, not through luck or comfort, but through daily training in resilience and clarity. Welcome to Stoic Philosophy Daily, where your story matters. Share your experience below. Every comment is a gift. We read with care, answer with heart, and treat your journey as our own. This is more than a channel. It is a circle of strength. If you are ready to build the kind of strength life cannot shake, stay with me. What you learn here could change everything. 1. Pain is your personal trainer. Growth demands a brutal kind of loneliness. If you want a mind so unshakable, it unsettles others, you have to walk roads most will never dare. The first lesson is not about applause or belonging. It is about being able to stand alone, sometimes with only your doubts and rawest thoughts for company. When you start to think for yourself, to question what you used to accept, to step away from empty routines, you stop being normal. And that shift will make others uncomfortable. They may say you are distant, cold, or changed. But what they are really seeing is the gap between someone chasing clarity and those still numbing themselves with noise. Are you tired of performing? Tired of nodding along with things that do not touch your soul? This is not coldness. It is the courage to stop playing a role in someone else's story. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, to live a good life, we have the potential for it, if we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Your life is not measured by crowds, but by the freedom you have from distractions that do not matter. And here is what unsettles people most. When you step away from the chaos, you hold up a mirror to their own avoidance. That is when the real challenge begins. Can you stand alone in the silence, or do you run back to the comfort of the crowd? Picture yourself in a quiet room. No screens, no voices, just you and the questions you usually avoid. Can you stay, or will you scramble for distraction? The truth is, if you cannot sit with yourself, you will always be a hostage to the crowd. But if you master solitude, you will find a clarity no noise can give. History proves it. Emily Dickinson's solitude echoed through generations. Nikola Tesla's isolation sparked the modern world. They did not break, they rebuilt. Solitude is not punishment. It is the ground where strength is forged, and the mind learns not to fold. Here is the shift. If you genuinely want to toughen your mind, you must become comfortable being alone with your thoughts, especially the painful ones. The more you do this, the less you fear judgment or rejection. Each round of honest solitude is a training session in self-respect and personal power. Try this tonight. Turn everything off. Close the door. Write down what you are really running from. What do you fear facing about yourself? Why do you need so much outside validation? Do not rush the answers. In that quiet, something more substantial begins to take root. Once you can stand in silence without crumbling, judgment and rejection become background noise. The world will not always admire you for this. Often, they will react with caution, even discomfort, because independence is rare, and a mind like that cannot be manipulated. Are you willing to step into that silence? The journey starts here, and the next lesson only gets harder. At Stoic Daily, we believe the ability to stand alone, facing pain, doubt, and silence, is where true strength begins. 2. Identity is rewritable. The moment you start to change, even in small ways, the air shifts. Read deeper, say no to easy gossip, or step away from what no longer serves you, and suddenly your growth acts like a spotlight in a dark theater. Some will applaud, but many will shield their eyes. That is the first cost of transformation. You begin to feel the subtle chill of distance from people who once felt close. This is not punishment. It is the inevitable side effect of becoming someone new. When your actions reflect what others are afraid to face, your presence alone can unsettle the group. You will hear jokes, see cold shoulders, or feel the conversation shift when you speak your truth. It is not that you are harming. Your change reminds others of the change they are resisting. Like a single flower growing in a field of concrete, you become both a hope and a challenge to the sameness around you. History shows this discomfort is universal. Socrates was not condemned for a crime, but for asking the questions no one wanted to answer. Malcolm X was targeted not just by his enemies, but by his own tribe, the moment he grew beyond the limits they set for him. The evolution of thought and spirit always disrupts what is settled, and that disruption often feels like exile. So ask yourself, have you ever dimmed your light to keep others comfortable? Shrunk your opinions or dreams to fit into a group that would never truly accept you anyway? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Actual growth will sometimes turn you into the outsider in rooms you once called home. The sting of being left out, the awkward silence, or even subtle mockery are not signs that you are wrong. They are proof that you are moving. Every time you are called too much, or in a way that's too difficult, remember this. The light always feels harsh to those accustomed to darkness. Stand tall in that discomfort. Do not apologize. Do not over-explain. Keep moving. Here is the lesson underneath. Growth will cost you comfort and the illusion of belonging, but it will gift you a self-respect that no crowd can provide. As you step forward, your courage to evolve becomes a silent invitation for others to break from the mold as well. Try this. Write down 3 ways you have outgrown your old circle, and 3 moments you felt resistance or coldness because of it. Ask yourself honestly, if you went back, would you respect yourself more? Or is this new path, though lonely at first, building the resilience you need? Notice what happens as you continue to choose growth. Eventually, your presence becomes the permission others need to step out of the shadows themselves. At Stoic Daily, we believe real growth is not about blending in, but about daring to be the spark in a world that fears the fire. If you are ready to stand out, share one change you are making in the comments. Sometimes, all it takes is one person shining a little brighter for others to remember their own light. 3. Let go of needing approval. The world can't handle what it can't control, and nothing unsettles the crowd more than a mind that doesn't need permission. The moment you stop living for validation, you become unpredictable. And that unpredictability makes people uncomfortable, not because you are dangerous, but because you are showing them it is possible to break free from rules they never questioned. Most people don't even realize how much others' opinions drive them. They hold back ideas, delete words, or avoid risks just to fit a script written by the group. Ask yourself how many times you have censored your own voice to stay acceptable. Whose life are you actually living? To rise above the herd takes courage. Stoic philosophy puts it plainly. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Growth demands the courage to be misunderstood, to appear wrong, even to stand alone if the truth requires it. The less you crave applause, the freer you become to do what is right, not what is popular. But mediocrity loves company. When you pull away, the crowd will try to pull you back, sometimes with mockery, sometimes with pity, sometimes by framing your independence as selfishness or coldness. But you were not born to blend in. Galileo was condemned for telling the truth, while Rosa Parks was criticized for refusing to move. Real power is not loud. It is the quiet refusal to be moved when the world tries to shame you back into place. Here is the shift. Approval is addictive because it offers comfort and a sense of belonging. But every time you step beyond the need for it, even a little, you reclaim self-respect and authority over your own path. That discomfort you feel eating alone, working without praise, or speaking an unpopular truth is the gateway to absolute freedom. If you can sit with that unease, you will discover a peace that only comes from being at home within yourself. Here is a challenge. This week, eat alone, no phone, and no distractions. Sit with the discomfort of being seen. Notice that what creeps in is not loneliness, but the fear of appearing alone. If you can stay with it, you will discover a freedom that only comes from being at peace with yourself, no matter who is watching. Ask yourself this. If you never got recognition, would your work still feel worthwhile? If the answer is no, you are still performing for the crowd, not living for yourself. As the Bible says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let your actions answer only one question. Does this make me a better version of myself? At Stoic Daily, we believe the less you need approval, the stronger you become. Define your own values, stand on them, and move without waiting for permission. When you can stand tall without leaning on applause, you are not just unshakable, you are truly free. 4. Own your life completely. True power doesn't shout. It sits calm while the world spins in panic. In a society run on reflex and blame, the most formidable person is the one who takes absolute ownership, both of their actions and of their mindset. The Stoics referred to this alignment as logos, the rational order of the universe. Life unfolds with its own logic. Some events you control, most you do not. However, how you respond within that order is always up to you. Even when the storm isn't your fault, the steering wheel is still in your hands. Real maturity begins when you let go of the hope that life will be fair or that someone else will save you. It starts with the quiet realization, if no one helps me, how far can I help myself? In that moment, you see that faith is not surrender and fate is not an excuse. You shift from blaming the world, your past, or even God, to claiming the right and the burden to shape your own path. Nietzsche warned that God is dead, not as a celebration but as a challenge. When the old scripts and authorities vanish, there is no scapegoat left, no higher power, no fate, no manual. Sartre went further, saying that man is condemned to be free. That is the paradox. Freedom is the gift and the sentence, because it means every choice and every outcome rests with you. This burden can feel overwhelming. It should. Real freedom demands more than dreams. It asks for responsibility at every turn. You can rewrite your story, but you also lose the right to complain about the ending. Each excuse you drop, each moment you choose to respond instead of react, is a vote for your own self-mastery. The world cannot manipulate someone who refuses to blame anyone else. Here is the more profound shift. Ownership is not about perfection, but about meeting life's chaos with clarity. When you choose to respond with intention, even to minor setbacks, you lay down the stones of a mine no one can shake. The world may never reward you for taking full responsibility, but it will respect your autonomy, and so will you. If you want to see your life shift, try this. Tonight, before bed, don't ask who drained your energy. Ask what responsibility you avoided. Write it down, not to shame yourself, but to take charge tomorrow. Each small act of ownership is a stone laid in the foundation of a mind no one can shake. The more you practice this, the more you will notice that others may fear this kind of autonomy, because a person who owns their choices is impossible to control. If you are still here, pause for 3 seconds. Just breathe. Feel what it means to choose right now. That is the seed of real strength. If you are done living as a victim, hit like as your personal pledge to start steering your own ship. At Stoic Daily, we believe self-mastery begins the moment you stop making excuses. Every choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. Stay with us. This journey is just getting started. 5. Strength is built in facing pain. Strength isn't grown in comfort. It's forged in the fire of pain you refuse to run from. You don't build an unshakable mind by chanting feel-good mantras or hiding behind distractions. You make it by standing face to face with your deepest wounds, letting the cracks show, and daring to ask what they're trying to teach you. Think back. How many times have you turned away from pain, hoping escape would save you? Did it ever bring you peace, or just more emptiness? A mind of steel is hammered out in chaos, in confusion, in nights when sleep won't come. The turbulence inside isn't a flaw. It's your raw material, clay that will shape a tougher and clearer self if you let it. Viktor Frankl survived the Holocaust by finding meaning in suffering. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Have you ever stopped to find meaning in your pain, or only tried to outrun it? Because pain itself isn't the enemy. Running is what leaves you empty. Consider this. A father loses his son, runs from the grief, and finds only a more bottomless void. But when he finally lets himself feel, to write, to cry, that pain becomes a book, and that book becomes a lifeline for thousands. His story proves a brutal truth. Healing begins not with denial, but with acceptance and meaning. Most of us keep our pain buried, but real growth starts when you're honest about what hurts. Each morning, ask yourself, what pain am I refusing to face? Write it down, not to wallow, but to seek its lesson. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? As you sit with discomfort, you start to see that just as pressure turns coal into a diamond, hardship hones your mind until nothing can break it. Seneca put it best, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a person perfected without trials." Stop wishing for a painless life. Choose the truth over illusion. Growth doesn't happen by avoiding pain, but by rewriting your story from the other side, by seeing yourself as someone who survived, learned, and grew stronger. Your scars aren't a weakness. They're proof that you cannot be broken. Here is the more profound truth. Every time you sit honestly with pain, even for a moment, you take back a piece of your power. The urge to run fades, and in its place rises a new clarity. If I can bear this, I can bear anything. Real resilience is earned in the moments when you let discomfort do its work, rather than numbing or fleeing from it. At Stoic Daily, we believe pain isn't here to crush you. It's here to carve out your strength. If you're ready to transform what hurts into what builds you, share one lesson pain has taught you in the comments. The next step is to prepare for the worst, not to live in fear, but to become the kind of person nothing can shatter. 6. Prepare for the worst. Remain unmoved. Mentally strong people carry a quiet weapon. They expect trouble, not because they are pessimists, but because they refuse to be caught off guard. That is why their calm unsettles others. The real danger isn't in shouting, but in sitting still while chaos swirls, face unchanged, mind unshaken. Marcus Aurelius wrote, The wise man sees in the misfortune of others what he should avoid. The Stoic doesn't wait for disaster to learn. They watch, they question, and they plan for storms before they arrive. This isn't self-torture. It's bulletproofing your mind. They ask the tough questions most people avoid. What if I lose my job? What if someone I love disappears? What if my foundation crumbles overnight? Only by facing the dark corners do you make the unknown less terrifying. Even the world's sharpest strategists, like Howard Marks, know it's not failure that destroys you, but surprise. Risk is what's left when you think you've thought of everything. True strength comes from rehearsing the worst so thoroughly that it can't paralyze you when it arrives. This is not about living in fear. It is about being ready, resilient, and clear. Here is the more profound lesson. When you look fear in the face over and over, you shrink its power. Each scenario you plan for turns panic into a plan and chaos into clarity. The Stoic way is not to flinch, but to invite fear to the table and ask it questions. The more often you do this, the less room anxiety has to grow. Try this. Each week, pick an area of your life: work, health, love, finances. Write down the worst thing that could happen. No filters. Map out how you would respond, what your backup would be, and who you would lean on. Notice your heartbeat. If it stays steady, you are closer to being unshakable. Your calm will unsettle others, not because you are detached, but because you have already lived the losses in your mind and survived them. Just like Mike Tyson walking into the ring, strength isn't always loud. It is a face that says, I have already met this storm in my mind, and I am still here. People will call you cold, but it isn't numbness. It is a form of immunity to panic. Most avoid pain by looking away. The Stoic opens the door and asks it to sit. Ask yourself, if you lost everything today, what would remain inside you? A strong mind doesn't need to roar. Sometimes, just being still is enough to quiet the room. At Stoic Daily, we believe unshakable calm is built by rehearsing loss, not ignoring it. Share below what is the worst you have prepared for and how it changed you. Next, we will dive into the art of not reacting, the rarest form of power. 7. The power of not reacting. True strength is never loud. It is the ability to stand still while every word, every look, every judgment shakes others. Most people exhaust themselves trying to control the uncontrollable, what others say, how they act, or what life throws their way. But the moment you let go of the need to react, you reclaim the only power that truly belongs to you: how you respond. Epictetus said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Every time you lose your temper, you hand over your mind to someone else. All it takes is a careless comment or a glance, and you are gone. Your peace traded for someone else's chaos. The real mastery lies in choosing calmness, choosing silence, and letting the noise pass through you. Non-reaction is not a weakness. It is the stance of someone who knows their own worth, who values stability more than winning arguments. It is the quiet confidence of a mountain that does not shake in a storm. Sometimes it is a single pause that turns the tables, like the teacher who stood silent while anger raged around him, and whose calm made everyone question the noise, not the stillness. Here is the hidden strength. When you master the pause, choosing not to fire back, not to justify or explain, you turn silence into a shield. Your restraint unsettles those addicted to drama and noise. Every time you hold your center, you reinforce that someone else's chaos cannot steal your peace. Try this. This week, when someone tries to bait you into an argument or throws a careless insult, resist the urge to reply. Just breathe and let your silence become a mirror. Watch how the noise often collapses under its own weight. Ask yourself who truly controls your actions, feelings, or standards. Nietzsche warned, He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster. The moment you let others trigger you, you give them the strings to your character. But when you stop reacting, you start living by your own rules. You become someone who is not just respected, you are quietly feared, because nothing can pull you off your center. At Stoic Daily, we believe silence is a superpower. If you are ready to let go of the need to react, drop "silence is power" in the comments. Start today. Live like nothing can pull you out of yourself, and notice how the world begins to respect your calm more than any argument. 8. Critical thinking is the sharpest weapon. Real power is not just a silent presence. It is a mind that refuses to swallow what it is fed. A strong mind wields critical thinking like a blade, not as a gift, but as a discipline. Every day, you are in a mental sparring match, questioning, digging, refusing to let noise, trends, or shallow opinions decide your direction. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? Who planted that idea? Is this my voice, or just an echo of the crowd? You win not by collecting the most facts, but by refusing to let unexamined opinions take root. In an age of information overload, the real challenge is not knowing more, it is thinking better. Most people digest headlines like fast food, never stopping to check what is real, what is missing, or what is worth their energy. You can feel it. The more undigested noise you let in, the more anxious and lost you become. A strong mind knows to pause, to question the emotional charge behind every headline or insult. When hurt, ask, what fear did that touch? When angry, ask, am I protecting the truth or just my ego? The real test of a disciplined mind is being able to question yourself. Each day, put one of your beliefs under the microscope. When was the last time you changed your mind or admitted you were wrong? If you cannot remember, you are living on autopilot. Sometimes, power means listening deeply instead of waiting for your turn to talk. True strength is not about dominating every debate. It is about walking away from arguments that do not matter, like a soldier picking the right battlefield. Here is the more profound lesson. Critical thinking is not about skepticism for its own sake. It is about keeping your mind sharp, your judgment clear, and your direction truly your own. Every time you pause to question, you cut through confusion and reclaim your peace from the world's noise. When you master this discipline, others notice your quiet certainty, and often, that stillness makes them question their own assumptions. Here is your challenge. Each day this week, take a belief, a reaction, or a headline and stop. Ask yourself, have I really thought this through? What is driving my opinion, truth, habit, or fear? The more you practice, the less persuadable you become, the less triggered you feel, and the more respect your quiet clarity commands. No need to shout, no need to prove. Sometimes, the deepest power lies in the mind that makes others fall silent by its mere presence. At Stoic Daily, we believe strength is forged in the questions you dare to ask. Share one belief you have re-examined recently in the comments. Quiet strength always speaks loudest. Quiet strength needs no applause. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. True power is the silent confidence that fills a room without a word, the kind of strength others feel and cannot quite name. That force is forged alone, in quiet choices, in honest conversations with yourself, and in the relentless commitment to live by what is right, not by what is popular. When you stop running from loneliness and face yourself head-on, you realize something powerful. The world will not save you, and that is the best gift it could give. A formidable mind is not about dominating others. It is about becoming unshakable, ungovernable, quietly immune to control, and strong enough to set your own pace in a noisy world. In a world where everyone reacts on impulse, those who pause, who act with intention, who choose silence over spectacle, these are the ones who stand out. That rarity is your superpower. Here is the final insight. The world will always try to measure you by noise, by applause, by validation. But quiet strength cannot be measured by ordinary means. When you learn to value that silent power, you stop chasing acceptance and start building a presence that cannot be shaken, even by the loudest storms. If you found value here, please hit the like button and let us know what made you stop and think. Share this with someone who needs it. If you are committed to building a mind that cannot be broken, subscribe, because your journey is just beginning. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, we believe the most substantial presence is often the quietest one. Your path is yours. Walk it well. Thank you for being here. See you in the next lesson. If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.